Let's go to Seminole Life here, Corey. Wake up, fellas. What do you guys think has led to the lack of superior linebacking recruits in play for Florida State University? This problem isn't new to Florida State University, but it's not like we haven't had some great ones through the years. Why are we unable to keep consistency here? Priority? I know this is the way it works out, Corey, when it comes to generating discussion, where I lecture people. They're asking us a question that generates discussion. And I don't want to lecture anybody, Corey, but I want to fire up the cameras. I want to fire up the generator.
All right.
I want to thank our great friends over at Cummins Generating Discussion. Go to Cummins Lifestyle, everybody. It's just a click. We're not asking you to spend any money. Just tap, click, follow Cummins Lifestyle, all one word on Instagram. Best question each week gets entered into a drawing for a monthly swag bag giveaway. All weekly winners go into a grand prize drawing. End of the year, free portable generator or portable power station. These things are awesome. You're going to want to win one. Be a member, post a question. My question, Corey, is I just don't get it, man. I know I diminished linebacker play, but can anybody name more than 3 linebackers on national championship teams over the last 10 years? What has happened at Florida State to where we sit here and we wonder, man, if only we had a linebacker? Alabama had Will Anderson, 2 years ago? I think they lost 3 games. That was the worst in Saban's tenure. He had the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, and he had this awesome linebacker, and they still ended up losing a bunch of games. And I get it, man. You want to have awesome dudes everywhere, but the game of football has changed. That hard-hitting face of your defense linebacker, they just don't really exist all that much. So I wonder, Corey, maybe you can answer both of these questions. I wonder why there is so much worry about this. And maybe you have a theory as to why that is and why they haven't gotten another Telvin Smith here in the last 10, 15 years.
Well, I feel like you just answered it there. Telvin Smith was a long time ago, man. He was a high 4-star. You also got Matthew Thomas, I think in 13 maybe, was a 5-star. And since then, not a lot of...
Lars Woodby was a 5-star linebacker.
Yeah, but he came in as a safety. So you and he wasn't. I love you, Jaden. You weren't a 5-star. So I wonder. I just think it's the culmination of literally 10 or 12 years of always seemingly missing out on one position over and over and over again. Now, it used to be that way with the offensive line. It is not anymore. They bring in good guys. They also have a good coach who coaches them up well. They hit it in the portal too. But linebacker, I just think that's what it is. Telvin Smith was 2013 was his last year. He was a 2010 recruit. And then Matthew Thomas was 13. And then it's just been a bunch of guys that haven't really wowed you. And they played, but they weren't just nothing special, man. And you, as a fan, I do think you want special at every position. You're not going to get it because you're not 2018 Alabama or 2022 Georgia. You're not going to be able to recruit at an elite level at every position every year, but you'd like to get a linebacker or two. I don't want to diminish what Blake Nicholson is, though, man. Blake Nicholson was a coveted linebacker and a pretty highly ranked linebacker, and I think it diminishes him to just continue to lament how they don't bring in big-time recruits when Blake Nicholson is on your roster. And Justin Cryer might be really good, man. I've been impressed by him. He wasn't a 5-star, but Blake Nicholson was a 4-star and a really good athlete. And Justin Cryer, I think, might be a really good college football player that just wasn't ranked that high. But I get the lamenting. I get the hand-wringing a little bit because of it. The answer to the question on the screen, I don't know, because you can't just say it's Randy Shannon. There have been coaches before Randy Shannon, head coaches, linebacker coaches, defensive coordinators, and it was never really working. So I don't know. I don't know why the linebackers in this country and the really highly ranked elite linebackers continue to spurn Florida State. Does it make sense? But yes, like Aslan, I'm not losing a ton of sleep over it. But I understand the question.
It's just, Kalen DeLoach had a season-saving play for you against Clemson. Tatum Bethune had a season-saving play for you against Louisville. Yeah, it's you've gotten some production out of them. I can only think of, like DJ Lundy had that nightmare against South Bend in 2020, but I mean, he was a true freshman and had really no business being on the field. I think like Tatum Bethune struggled a little bit in coverage on some like rub routes against Clemson in 2022 at home. But like, other than that, that has not been, and listen, they haven't lost a lot of games lately. So there's really not any reason to point a finger at anybody. But if you got to go back to 2022, maybe if you had better linebacker play some of those wheel routes from the tight ends releasing late out of the backfield, maybe you get a little bit of better shot at beating a team like that, but it just hasn't cost them a lot. And what I wonder, Corey, and I didn't do any research on this, but I also wonder how many linebackers are being tabbed as 5 stars in this day and age. I just don't, I bet if I looked at 2010, like the top 100, and I looked at the top 100 this year, I bet you there's, I don't know, like maybe like 10 linebackers versus like 6 maybe now, possibly. And then maybe some of the fact that Florida State runs a 4-2-5, but they're not alone in doing that.
Right. Here's what I'd say to all this is that I think that Mike Norvell is a very competitive person, very competitive, and wants to win a lot. And he's got no long-term ties to Randy Shannon. So if you guys think that Randy Shannon is the problem, if you guys think Randy Shannon is holding the program back and the reason they're not signing these recruits, that's a perfectly fine opinion to have. Well, don't be mad at Randy Shannon. Be mad at the head coach that keeps him employed. And so if you trust Mike Norvell on certain, I don't think Mike Norvell would just keep a guy around on his team, on his staff, to be a nice guy. He doesn't strike me as that. He's fired guys before. He's lost plenty of coaches before. So I don't think that's it, because I think Norvell, if he really thought that was a weakness, would be looking to go somewhere else. And as I've talked about before, it's hard to know who any good recruiters are anymore because of the way NIL works. It's just hard to know. People a couple weeks ago were complaining about Papuchis, who sent 2 straight guys into the NFL as first-round picks. And Peyton and other guys might join them soon. And Papuchis is getting some tough love. I think it's understandable, and it's a concern that it seemingly, I haven't kept up with this recruiting class enough to know if this is specific to the 2025 kids and all the big-time linebackers keep doing the stiff arm with Florida State. But I will say this, it is the least important position on defense as Florida State is concerned. They only play 2 of them, and they are typically they only play 2 of them. And so it's not like you're missing out on edge rushers. You got a lot of those. You know what I mean? You got some guys in the interior, and you have for years. So you want greatness everywhere. You do, but they do only play 2, and it's clearly not something that's crushing the program because they've won 19 straight games if we don't count the debacle in the Orange Bowl, which I don't.
I don't even know who's considered the number 1 linebacker in the country right now, but I don't think I would trade him for Azarie Thomas.
Well, yeah, and you got Azarie, you got Hakeem, you've got some big-time Kromenhoek as a quarterback, you've got some big-time running backs. Linebacker is the position since Norvell's been here where it feels like it's just a parade of 3 stars. Yeah. But some 3 stars can play. And we'll see with Cryer, but some 3 stars end up playing like 5 stars. I'm not one of those guys that's like, I'd rather have 83 stars that play hard. No, you need some NFL talent too. And I think that's the issue, man. When you talk about Florida State fans and this position in particular, is when was Telvin Smith the last NFL draft pick at linebacker for this program? That was 11 years ago. That's crazy. I might be missing one. Maybe Matthew Thomas ended up being drafted. I don't remember. But that's crazy that it's been that long since they've had like a star linebacker. But I don't want to, like Aslan said, Deloach and Bethune were very, very good. Who are the up-and-comers? Does it even matter if you can go in the portal and get guys that can play?
I thought maybe Terrence Smith got drafted, but he was an undrafted free agent. So was Matthew Thomas.
Okay.
And I leave you with this. Going back, looking at the rivals back when we were there, 100 back in 2010, there were 4 linebackers in the top 40.
Okay.
Right now on 3 for 2025, there's only 1 linebacker that's in the top 40.
Yeah, it's becoming like the NFL with running backs, because again, it's a pass-heavy sport now. There's not a lot of, you don't see a lot of 250-pound middle linebackers. thump it in there that much because the running game in stuff between the tackles just doesn't happen a lot. There's not a lot of traditional running games where you need a 245, 255-pound linebacker ranging from, defensive end to defensive end, plugging up holes and making all those tackles. So that said, yeah, you'd like to recruit the best linebackers in the country. You want to do that at every position. But I don't know if there's one thing. Like all the linebackers are just like, I can't play for Randy Shannon. Randy Shannon got good play out of Deloach and Tatum Bethune. Now, you can say they were veterans. They were 22, 23 years old. They played a lot of football, sure. But if we're just judging on how those two guys played, they, one was a 7th-round pick, one wasn't a draft pick at all, but they were very productive in college. You should give credit for the way they played the last year and a half.
Cummins Lifestyle, go follow them over on Instagram. Florida State alums supporting this endeavor. We appreciate them. If you appreciate us, just go hit follow. Just one little button.
Check out the mobile power solutions from Cummins, a global power technology leader. Own-in portable generators are versatile portable generators for your everyday or on-the-go power requirements. Choose a model to power your lifestyle, from working on a DIY construction project, tailgating from your pickup truck, or powering your critical home appliances during Florida hurricane season and power outages. Cummins offers own-in portable generators from 2,500 to 9,500 watts. Use promo code TAILGATE, that's TAILG, numeral 8, for a 10% discount on a P2500i at shop.cummins.com. The P2500i can power you for 10 hours on only 1 gallon of fuel, and its double insulated housing keeps you humming at a peaceful 52 decibels. Get it again for 10% off using the promo code TAILGATE at shop.cummins.com.